All right, now it's the Big Pod Swing Session Podcast, and we back with episode 10. Congrats to us. Now, look, before we get into the script, I need y'all to like, subscribe, and comment. But fuck all that small talk. Let's get right into it. Now, let's talk about the Browns quarterback room. It just got real interesting. Joe Flacco, Dylan Gabriel, Shadur Sanders, and now Kenny Pickett out, traded. Shadur Sanders looked like he's staying with the team. But here go the real story, yo. This so-called quarterback competition hasn't exactly been fair. Dylan Gabriel got real chances. Shadur Sanders, not so much. Shit, even Kurt Warner said it. Gabriel had opportunities to make plays. Shadur Sanders didn't get those same reps. So how can you really judge these guys if the reps ain't equal? That's not evaluation. That's favoritism. Cleveland basically saying this. We believe in Flacco for now, Gabriel for development, and we keeping Shadur Sanders as insurance. So if you want my take, if you keeping Shadur, then let that man compete. Give him the same chances Gabriel getting. Because otherwise, you're not just building a quarterback battle. It look like you scripting one. And trust me, the whole league is watching to see how Cleveland handles this situation. Center point, center point, center point. Let's talk utilities. Because right now, families are being crushed. In Evansville, Newburgh, across southern Indiana, center point energy bills are sky high. We're talking numbers that don't even make sense compared to other states. People are saying that a similar home in Florida runs about $200 a month. Here, $700. That's not just expensive. That feels like robbery. And here go the kicker. It's only going to get worse. Centerpoint has another rate hike coming in 2026. Now let's keep it real here. This isn't just about Centerpoint. They're only doing what the State House and Indiana Commission allows them to do. That's the system. That's why you hear words like monopoly. So what does this mean for everyday families? It could mean if you one day late, your power could be cut off immediately. You got people choosing between bills and groceries. And then you got stress that just keep building month after month. This is bigger than inconvenience. This is price gouging. Utilities are supposed to serve the people, not drain them. So what's the answer? It starts with accountability. Holding lawmakers responsible for the rules they set. Pushing for transparency on how rates are calculated. And most importantly, demanding a system that puts people first and not profit. Electricity and gas aren't luxuries, y'all. They're not optional. They're the basics of modern life. And when families are paying triple compared to other states, that's not the market at work. That's a system that needs fixing. If you want my final word on it, continue to push. I love seeing the rallies. Hopefully some change. President Trump signaled that Chicago could be the next city to see federal troops. Part of his push to crack down on crime nationwide. His words were direct. Quote, Chicago is a mess. You have an incompetent mayor, grossly incompetent, and we will straighten that one out next. Now, here's where the story gets complicated. Mayor Brandon Johnson is saying the opposite. That sending the troops would be a problem, and the people of Chicago will resist. So what do we do with this? Let's take it out of politics for a second and talk right, wrong, and what makes sense. Chicago has real problems with violence. That's not fake. That's not hype. That's daily life for a lot of neighborhoods. If federal help comes in the right way with resources, strategy, and some coordination, there could be some benefits. You got more manpower, federal funding to solve cases and investigations, access to technologies that the city might not have, a faster response to spikes in violence. But here go the flip side of that. If that help comes heavy-handed without listening to the community, it creates tension. It turns the neighborhood into battlefields. And instead of building trust, it builds resentment. That's what both sides miss the bigger point. The question isn't, should troops come or not? The question is how resources get used to actually make people safer. Because at the end of the day, Chicago doesn't need a power struggle between politicians. It needs solutions that work for the people living there every day. And that's the line, yo. Right and wrong isn't about party colors here. It's about whether actions reduce violence or just create another fight that the city doesn't need. All right, now, and then there were 53. Cut down week in Chicago, clipboards loud, phones buzzing, dreams delayed or delivered. The Bears trimmed towards 53. Now, amongst those releases was quarterback Austin Reed. We wish you the best in your next situation, yo. But the story of August isn't who left. It's who forced their way in. Now, number one on their list is Austin Booker. Second-year edge rush, 4 sacks this preseason, 8 total tackles, and a spot on national all preseasons list. That's not hype. That's production. Now, what changed? He got a better get off, his hands stronger, moving at smarter angles. He really winning in the trenches. It's real third down juice behind Montez Sweat, and not just a cameo. Now on to these wideouts, yo. We got number 20, Jade Walker. Remember that name. 8 catches, 98 yards, 2 TDs. You can't cut that type of energy, man. I like what I seen from this guy. He got to it this preseason, made it count. And if you need a moment, he toe-tapped the game winner. 2 seconds left. That's clutch. And the schedule we got, we gonna need that down the line. Now on defense, Austin Booker changes your rotation day one. You can buy sweat breathers without losing heat. He's a real pressure package by himself on money downs. Now on to this offense. Walker gives Caleb another target. He's competitive. He knows how to finish, and he plays for the team. Now the bigger picture is this. What day hurts, but it also clarifies. Walker earned real snaps. Walker earned real targets. And the Bears' floor just climbed because 2 young dudes turned August into a decent little resume. Now this is my final take. The list say 53, but the tape say Booker and Jade Walker belong on the Bears in the NFL. Caleb Williams in this narrative already, it's starting to get messy. Now the Bears, they got their 53-man roster set. Caleb locked in as QB1, the future of this team. But instead of celebrating what Caleb's doing on the field, I see people nitpicking. You got Sam Acho goes on TV and criticizes the man for how he wears his socks because they halfway down, calling it sloppy, and it shows a lack of leadership. Man, that's bullshit. That's not analyst, yo. That's reaching. Meanwhile, in the actual game, Caleb 11 for 15, 113 yards, 1 TD, 116 quarterback rating. That's what we should be talking about. That's what matters. But instead, the headlines are about socks or Ben Johnson's comments or anything other than the fact that this guy's already showing poise, accuracy, and commanding the offense. And here's what makes it crazier, yo. We can't even celebrate Tyson Bagent right. Undrafted guy. Signed an extension to stay in Chicago. Y'all putting him in cahoots with Caleb, making this a QB battle. It's not, bro. The truth is simple. Caleb Williams is stepping into a franchise that hasn't had a real quarterback identity in decades. Caleb is giving them stability, production, and some kind of hope, yo. So let's stop making this story about fucking socks and start making about what's happening on the field. Now, if Caleb keep playing like this and what we seen in the preseason, the Bears look like they got their guy. And y'all just reaching for some shit to say. All right, let's close this thing out. I'm going to leave you with this. Control the narrative or be controlled by it. Because the truth is, perception moves faster than facts. If you don't set the tone, someone else will. And when they do, you will spend your energy defending instead of directing. So write your own story. Frame your own name. And remember, silence isn't always peace. Sometimes it's surrender. Now it's the Big Pod Swing Session Podcast. We'll see y'all next week, y'all.